Yay! How are you?
Good, I think. Good-ish. Better. Every day is different.
Yeah,
Still
for
look
sure.
sure. I should probably put like a not nude color on, huh?
You look a little bit naked. Just a little bit, though.
Okay. I had a call with my mentor today at Chiat.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's being recorded. Should I not? Oh.
Hi, Imogen.
Hi.
Hi.
Stephanie, Imogen.
I think we met at your house actually.
Oh, you did.
Oh, hi.
Maybe we did. Imogen's gonna take notes and do like a summary for us.
Nice. Awesome. How's everyone holding up this lovely week 3, end of week 3?
Crazy times.
Okay. Yeah. How are you?
Same as you, I think. Okay. That's what I've been saying to everyone. Okay. Like, I don't want to go so far as to say good, but okay.
That's better than other things. So I think if you can try and keep positive, then.
Greetings.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Ron.
Hi, Ron. What's up?
What's up?
Thanks for joining.
Oh, it's not like I had anything else to do.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm getting like super excited. I was
You're afraid that what?
not afraid, just nervous. Hi, Laura.
Nervous about what?
Laura, you're on mute.
We don't need a hero.
It's like chaos. It's like virtual chaos. Awesome. How's everybody feeling today?
I'm beautiful. I woke up this morning. Nothing hurt that bad.
Your body, in your body, you mean?
Nah, I'm good. I'm so good. I haven't left my property since 3/11.
I know, isn't that insane? You literally haven't left the space.
Nope.
And Laura, where are you at? You're in Bennett or you're Malibu?
Yeah. This is day 18, but I had to leave yesterday to take our dog to the vet, which was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They meet you outside and they get your dog out of your car.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that the same dog that's in the background right now? That was.
Oh no, that's a different one. He's good.
I saw, I watched this, I follow this guy on Instagram. He does a surf report every morning in Malibu, and he posts like Surfrider Beach, the waves. And this morning he posted a video, and there was people out there surfing. There was 2 people out like surfing on the waves, and the comments, it was like 400 comments in Instagram, all like, is that okay? Is that not okay? Who are those people? What are they doing? Like, I hope one of the guys wrote, I hope that those are medical professionals who are like on the
Somebody got arrested.
Yeah.
Out in Santa Monica, yeah, for being in the water, yeah.
When I drove by yesterday, First Point, the waves were amazing and there was not a soul out and there were cops everywhere.
Really?
Like it was weird because we're actually in Ventura County. We're right by county line. And so as you're in LA County, it's swarming with CHP and, and they've got all the parking blocked off so no one can park. And then there's no surfers out at all. And then you get to county line and it's just packed because you're now in Ventura County, which they're not really enforcing anything that has to do with their beaches, I guess. And it was so packed. Crazy. Wow. Yeah.
That is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an intense time for sure. All right, we're just waiting on Sean and Shannon. We give them another minute, I think, if that's all right. And Laura's David will join us too.
Yeah, he's on another call. He's talking to the bank right now. So he's on a call, and he'll join us after.
Okay, cool.
He'll just like scoot his head in.
I had to go into the bank today too.
How have you been, Laura?
Good, really good. How about you?
I'm beautiful. Great.
Good. Good. All good in the garden?
Yeah, that's where I've been living. You know, I mean, literally, I've lost like what, 10 pounds and a tooth.
Oh my God.
I can't go to the dentist yet. I gotta, after I get off with you guys, I gotta do a Skype with her to see what I'm gonna do, because all of a sudden, I got all these interviews coming up, and I'm like, I'm not going there with this tooth looking.
Just turn to one side.
I can bite my lip and talk like this.
I can't see it, right?
Getting close in. I can't see your tooth.
Yeah.
Good.
Me neither. I can't see.
You know, but yeah, no, I've been literally eating something out of the garden every day, and it's I feel a difference. You know, definitely do.
Good or bad?
Very good. I mean, I mean, even strength gains. It's kind of crazy. Because I was on this thing where it's like, I can't do the amount that I could do. What the hell? I'm getting old. What the hell's happening? And now, all of a sudden, it's just like that's gone. Kind of weird. Even doing stretching, like if you know how you stand and you do a forward fold. I mean, literally, I can put my head between my knees. I've never been able to do that, and it's kind of weird. But a beautiful thing.
You're becoming the garden.
Is that what's happening?
You're turning into your garden.
All right, cool. Sean, is Shannon gonna join us as well? Okay, cool.
Just me. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
How's it going?
That's everyone then. So I want to start by saying thank you for being here for this brainstorm. I think you know, in my life and work, something that I strongly believe is that collaboration leads to innovation, and conversation leads to innovation, and sharing ideas is the start of things. So I admire all you guys so much. So thank you for sharing your thoughts today. You know, you all know me, so I think introductions can be short. But I'm Jenny. I started Rewilder 6 years ago to tackle this problem of industrial trash and really divert amazing, non-recyclable, high-performance materials from ending up in the landfill. My background's in architecture. I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. So now I'm also a teacher and a cook and a cleaner and a gardener and a bunch of other things. But you guys mind doing short intros so that you all know each other?
No, not everybody.
Okay, let's go around. Ron, you want to start?
I'm Ron Finley, and I'm also a father of 3 grown-ass men. And I'm also known as the gangster gardener. I got the law changed in LA where you can plant food on the street. And I advocate for, people think it's about food, but it's about freedom. So to me, and that's what I do. That's what I've been doing, and that's what I'm gonna continue to do. But I mean, I've been able to see traction all over the world with what I've done, which none of what I'm doing was planned. So I feel kind of honored by seeing the you know, that people in Africa to Greece to Sao Paulo, you know, send me pictures and videos that they were inspired by me. So that's what I do.
Thanks. Laura?
Hi, my name is Laura Doss-Hertz. I started our company with my husband, SkySource, and now we're morphing into the Resilience Lab as a need. We see a need in the resilience space. we started our company together around water scarcity, and we started making water from air and using renewable energy to power the water machines that make the water. And we started giving the water away for free to the community in Venice. And we realized, wow, again, like Ron, like what you're talking about, freedom. Like if people can make their own water and get off the grid and get out of that cycle of the old, more bund way of, utility, we could create freedom and community for everyone globally. And so with that, we took that knowledge and we entered the Water Abundance X Prize, and we won.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 97 teams from 92 teams from 87 countries. And so it was a 2-year arc, and we figured it out, and we could make 2,000 liters of water in 24 hours at less than a quarter cent per liter. And what we learned through the X Prize was that we were actually sequestering carbon because we were using biomass waste to fuel the energy to make the water. And so we were basically sequestering carbon, and as a byproduct, we were making biochar. So then we were like, wow, this is a completely closed loop, because the byproduct of the biomass waste was biochar, which we could put back into agriculture. And so now you have this virtuous closed loop system where you can feed, hydrate, and energize, within one closed loop system. So now with that technology, we right after we won the Water Abundance X Prize, the Woolsey fires hit, and we live in Malibu, so we were affected by that. And we realized it's more than about sustainability now, it's about resilience. And we need to move forward in a resilience thinking capacity as opposed to a sustainable, because now we need to create systems that give back as opposed to equalize. So now we're trying to deploy, and we've got a lot. It's a bigger job than just winning the X Prize. It's now the work is beginning. So that's where we are.
That word sustainable and sustainability is such bullshit. When you think of something being sustainable, that it's like if I put a glass on a table and nobody touches it, it's sustainable. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't generate. So what we need to be talking about is regenerative systems. Like the planet regenerates every 24 hours. And that's what we need to change that word. The way I make people understand that, I say, okay, you got a bank account. You got a bank account that's sustainable, and you got a bank account that's regenerative. Which one do you want? And of course.
Yeah, I mean, and that gets just to how we talk about sustainability as a culture right now too, because the word itself is meaningless.
It's bullshit. Yeah.
It's bullshit. Yeah.
Okay, wait, Sean, go. Yeah, let's keep going.
Well, it wasn't supposed to be bullshit.
It
became bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm Sean Scott. My wife and I founded Community Made 3 years ago. We make shoes locally in LA, and we actively involved in the community. The whole idea is that overseas mass production, that whole model is broken. It was a great idea, I think, at the start, but it's pretty clear now there are a lot of cracks in the model, sustainability wise. Regeneratability, and human rights wise, and just in general, the whole business model is built for a business efficiency. It's not made for consumers. So our whole thing is about decentralizing supply chain. We're going to do everything locally and expand that globally. So in LA, we have our little ecosystem, and we do a lot in the community. We're active in the community. The people making our products are active in the community. It's all one happy family. And then we would do that wherever we go. And then, we can cross-pollinate as we do that as well. Prior to this, I was one of the founding team at Tom's. And prior to that, somewhere in there, I was a designer. Eventually just became a, kind of a jack of all trades entrepreneur. And I have amazing wife that Jenny, I think, has met. Two grown-ass kids, as Ron said. And I'm on the board chair at Street Poets. We love doing things with, some of the local, I won't say just nonprofits, but anybody doing something good in the community, we're down to help.
Yeah.
Cool. Stephanie?
Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie, and I am Rewilder's partner in CMO. I joined over a year ago at this point.
Yeah.
I met Jenny and pitched some ideas to her because I was really passionate about the brand and the products, and we ended up working together. My background is in advertising and marketing, so lots of research and strategy for media and creative side. So that's it. I wish I had longer, cooler stories like all of you guys.
Why?
Make them up.
Short is beautiful.
We're older, Stephanie.
Exactly. Hey, watch that.
And then Imogen, who's the youngest of our group, is on. So she, Imogen, you want to introduce yourself? Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name's Imogen. I'm from the UK, and I've taken a gap year to basically test out the documentary business and see if that's something I'm interested in. And I was living with Jenny for 3 months. She very kindly let me stay with her for 3 months, which was absolutely amazing. And now we've hit a very strange time, and I want to help as much as I can. So I'm helping Jenny with her blogs and her social media at the moment.
So Imogen will be taking notes and doing a summary of whatever we talked about. Thank you. All right, well, thank you all. I'm like so thrilled and heart warmed in this crazy time. I mean, I definitely want to start just by recognizing that we're in this massive crisis and it's devastating for so many people, and that this is not an easy time, and it's such an emotional moment. It's not an easy time to be positive. But at the same time, what we're seeing is that it's so clear that business as usual is just not sustainable, and that things are changing, and like change is so hard usually. And Sean and I were talking about this morning. It's so hard to get people to change, and all of a sudden, everywhere you look, everything has changed overnight. So everything has been disrupted, and so what I'm feeling in this time, and my hope, is that this is a window that we need to shift out of a model of extraction and consumption to something more holistic,
No doubt.
more cooperative. So I know that's a lot, and I know that's stuff that you guys are actually working on already. But I wanted to start by just asking, why did you say yes to this gathering?
Well, I was just going to say, I can never say no to you, Jenny.
Oh.
Everything you do is pretty solid and respectable, and I really admire what you do and how hard you work at everything that is in your life, being a mom, your company, just being a good human being. And so I will always say yes to you.
I'll keep that in mind, Laura.
I may be eating my words. No, and we're up here all alone, and as is everybody, and there's a craving for community, and especially a community like this, where people are thinking outside of the box, and hopefully this becomes someday the norm, and I'm hopeful, and that's why I said yes.
Because I see it as an opportunity. I say I don't do hope, because
I know you said that. Fuck hope.
You can't really, you can't take it. It's like, I tell people I'll take a couple opportunity over a boatload of hope every day. I mean, and that's what people are missing is the opportunities, and we haven't trained people to see the opportunities and the resources around them. We've been trained and that money is the only resource, and that's some bullshit, But from day one, we've been trained that you reach success and you work for success. It's like, okay, so when are you ever successful if you deal with the model that we've been taught from age one. Everything's in the future. Everything we do, all our thinking, nothing, you don't celebrate right now, the present for what it is, that present. So, so when are you successful? Never. You know, if you subscribe to this model. Me, I woke up this morning, I'm successful. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm here. And we have to have a shift and an alignment of consciousness. And first and foremost to me, we have to have a shift of value. What do we value? You know, I'll ask people, what's the single most important thing to your life? And I said, don't answer. I asked them 3 times, what is the single most important thing to your life? Oh, happiness. Oh, my family. Oh, I know, food, because you grow food. No, it's like, no, air is the single most important thing to your life. But have we been trained to appreciate and give honor and give thanks to air? No, never. Even yogis, I'll ask yogis that question. Oh, happiness. No, you do ujjayi breath, dude. Don't you understand? So it's like we have to change what we value. We've been trained to value money, 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 and that's it, but not each other, not humanity, not this soil, which we're made of. So that's why I'm here. I mean, anytime I get to be in some kind of forum, especially if I'm getting a check, I'm going to be there because I know there's not nobody generally that look like me there, and I got to represent. But I represent for humanity, though. That's I'm a humanitarian, period, you know? And I think all of us here, that's what we are, you know?
I mean, the air is something that we've been talking about a lot in my family because it's amazing right now.
Oh my God.
Walking, it's like.
And they want us to stay inside.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I told my kids, and I think I even wrote this. It's like when I look out the window now, it feels like someone like wiped a layer of dirt off the window.
It has been.
Well, the actual color of the sky is different.
No, we're the virus. I mean, we're the toxins. We're letting corporations do this to us, literally, and to Mother Nature. And that's what we have to stop. You know, who's really? I mean, there's dolphins in Venice Canal in Italy. Are you fucking kidding me? That's crazy. You know.
I think the opportunity is this is the first time, for sure, in our lifetime, and probably a lot longer, that there is some mass awareness that materials and money are maybe not the end game here. And it should be a beautiful thing. And I think if I go back to why I said yes, it's because when you get a lot of insincere bullshit coming across our plates right now. You know, we'll donate $15 a unit to, you know, some nameless charity that I've never heard of if you buy our product. Well, right. But when somebody like Jenny sends a note, it carries a lot of weight now. It's people who are sincerely, I wrote this down to Jenny earlier, but I believe it. People who are sincerely interested in doing the right thing right now are going to rise to the top. I do believe we have a pretty decent bullshit meter, present U.S. administration accepted. Right. I do think people can recognize a bullshit deal from a sincere deal. And I think people who are sincerely interested in doing good and doing the right thing and helping others, I think this is their time more than any other in our lifetime. And you know, I aim to take advantage of that opportunity to do as much good as we can while it lasts. And I think that's the opportunity.
I agree.
Yeah. Oh God, you guys are all so amazing. Stephanie, do you want to add anything?
I'm younger.
How old are you? Tell us how old you are.
Eating nachos right now, so I really didn't want to like crunch.
Oh, sorry. We can't smell your breath.
Right. Or smell anything.
Or smell it.
I don't have to take a shower.
This is the most stressed I've been in 3 weeks. For sure.
So no, it is. I agree. It is an opportunity. It is.
I know Jenny and I have been talking about this a lot. I was kind of feeling down about this whole thing, just like everything stopping. Like the good is great, but just knowing that like people are hurting and suffering, like that really got me down the last 2 weeks. So I guess I said yes today because I feel like I needed to be part of something that was going to be inspirational, because it's easy to get really upset about everything that's going on and like how the administration's like handling this. So I really
I think the upset should have came a while ago. I mean, we all should have been upset many, many years ago. Now we're at the point where it's, to me, why does the building have to be down? And we're at the Phoenix rising point. We have to burn everything down, and then now the Phoenix comes. I don't think we had to get to that point. We allowed ourselves to be lulled into this comfortable zone, you know, and now this is where we're at. But I think the opportunity is people are they're gonna change their values. Like I've been putting up there, are you guys listening yet? You know, do you realize now you can't eat those fucking diamonds? You know what I'm saying? So what do you truly value? And I think now a lot of people, because I'm seeing posts and things like that, people like, I'm a guy threw all of his clothes away, 2-3 rooms full of Gucci and Louis Vuitton, all this stuff. And he's just started throwing his stuff away because he's like, I want y'all to know that I'm not materialistic no more. And it's like, so people are seeing like, okay, really what's truly important to you. That we're all in this together. And I think this epidemic is showing, it's like the same air you breathing in Kazakhstan is the same air we're breathing here in LA. You know, it's the same air. We're on the same planet. So.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, actually, Sean and I talked a little bit this morning, and I was saying over the past 2 years, probably, it's been really hard for me to feel positive at Rewilder because I felt like I'm like pushing a boulder up a mountain. Where like this is never gonna change. Like I'm spouting out the same thing, but like who really cares? And I'm also working in this model of consumption as well. I'm selling goods to people. I think Sean, I don't know if you've had that same feeling. And this is all shifting. I mean, I'm thinking about now, what does Rewilder become in the future? I don't know that it's the same thing it's been in the past, obviously, but this time has, like these last month, like you're saying, Ron, it's the opportunity for change just feels extraordinary in a way that for the last 2 years I've been like feeling pretty down about. And it sucks that we had to get to this point. I totally agree. But
how can you work, Jen? How can you work in a capacity where you're down and not get up and like, see, and I think that's the success models that we have set up for ourselves. And it keeps you like that because you're looking at this pinnacle, not seeing, I'm successful right now, right this moment. Let me celebrate this success, and whatever I can change tomorrow, give me the opportunity to do that. And we don't do that because we're not trained to do it. We think there's an ascension to the top. Ain't no damn top. You know?
Well, yeah, and I'm talking about too, like changing people's hearts and minds about how they consume things. And I always felt that was I was always like, this is like insurmountable. Like what are we, like what am I pushing up against?
I don't think none of us would be here. and try being me in doing that. You know what I'm saying? Give me a break. So it's triple harder with me, you know?
Yeah.
And then suddenly, I mean, I don't want to make too light. It's a serious situation, but
you got to make light too. We got to have both of them.
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah, you have to give yourself a break. You can't be depressed all the time. Yeah. But suddenly, I think there's a ray of light shined on all this stuff that all of us have been doing all this time. And I'm the same as you, Jenny. I mean, there are days where I wake up and I go, you know, we can't even get people in the Western educated world to see the light. And a third world country is 50 years away from getting to where we are, not seeing the light. It's insurmountable, like you said. But suddenly, I think if we do the right things, if people like us play it right, it's going to be painfully obvious that we need to change our behavior.
Because there's a difference between education and indoctrination.
What do you mean?
Well, we've been indoctrinated. What do you put, if like, that question I told you I asked earlier, what is the single most important thing to your life? I asked them, and people have to think about it. I said, it's the single most important thing to your life. Why the hell you got to think about it? And I said, okay, I'm gonna ask you another question. What do you pledge allegiance to? You know what they say immediately? The flag. What the fuck you pledging allegiance to a flag for? It's a fucking flag. You know what I'm saying? Pledge allegiance to humanity. Pledge allegiance to your kids. So it's in what we haven't been educated. We've been indoctrinated with this bullshit. You know, we might as well be Hitler Youth for some shit.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely a shift, I feel, and I don't think the whole world is gonna wake up to this, because, you know, so many people are, you know, you just look at this administration and all they care about is the economy, because that's what's going to get them reelected, because they think that that's all that people care about. So we're held to such a low standard anyway, you know. I mean, what if somebody whose last name rhymed with Rama got up there and said, you know, my heart is breaking for all these families. I'm here, I'm listening, you know, somebody who is empathetic. And I think that there are people that see right through the bullshit, and there's people that don't see right through it. But I think there's going to be a shaking out where things are going to really, really shift, you know, right down to, do I want to be in this marriage? Because people are forced to look at their what's right in their face. You know, you can go years and, you know, be married and have this life and be plugging along, and then now you have to live with it, right? And so there's going to be a lot of shifting on that small level and on a more global level as well. And I feel people a lot of people are coming to us with this, you know, resilience idea, or, you know, bringing a lot more to the table than they normally would because of what's happening, or, you know, just coming at us more than they ever would because of what's happening now. If life was going on the way we've been indoctrinated, yeah, nothing would change. We'd just be going business as usual.
So actually, that's a perfect lead in, because the next thing I wanted to ask was, what's something that you want to hold on to from this time, and like how has this affected like your life and work, and what is something that you're seeing right now that you want to hold on to, and something maybe that you never want to go back to? Like, and this is on a personal scale, right? So this is for me and my family, things that I'm able to change on a small scale that I can share with you. Like, for example, the first time I went grocery shopping after this all started, the store was out of cow's milk. And I came home with oat milk, and I told my kids, there's no cow's milk, so this is what you get. This is your milk. And by the way, I've been trying to transition away from that for a year. I've been bringing home different milk, and like, here's what you get. Anyway, so since then I've gone back to the store, but I still am only coming home with oat milk and telling them that there's no cow's milk at the store, so that we're making the shift at home. And they're not happy, but they've like drastically reduced their milk consumption in general. And that's just a small thing. I mean, Ron, I'm gonna reach out to you separately because I'm about to plant a massive garden, but that's a separate project. But also, like, I don't ever want to wake up again by my alarm clock. Like, I'm sleeping in the morning, I wake up when my body wakes up, and I start my day, and it feels so much better. So I guess what are things that like that, like things that you want to hold on to and that you want to let go of?
Anybody?
Well, I like slowing down. I've been slowing down. I've been baking a lot and doing a lot of, you know, there's nowhere to go. And so I just want to kind of slow down. And I don't ever want to let go of that, because we're always spinning out of control. And I just really like this slower pace of life.
Do you realize it now, or did you realize it before?
I realized it before, and I'd always say, God, I just want to jump off. I want to jump off for a second just to slow down. I just want to read a book. Right. And now and I have all these like things. I want to bake bread. I want to, you know, I just want to be in the garden. my garden looks like crap, and maybe I'll be reaching out to you too, Ron.
Oh,
I need help.
I need help.
Yeah, but so I just honestly love the slowing down, you know, and just really, and not feeling guilty about it, because I don't have a choice. Like I have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So the slowing down, I'm really embracing. It's hard because I'm A-type and I just have to be doing something. And so the slowing down is really teaching me how to just chill the fuck out.
Yeah. What I hold on to, I don't, this hasn't affected me like it has a lot of people. I mean, and it's affected, like you said, it's affected me in a sense of that I feel better now. I've, how you ever had that feeling like, damn, I feel good. But then you get to a point, shit, I guess I didn't feel that good if I feel this good right now, and that's kind of how I feel. But being able to be in a garden and go out every day and pick food, that's been kind of a savior. So my life is, I kind of get to do what I want to do every day anyway. So I've been kind of on this, but you get all of these, like you said, things coming in all the time, and people want you to be here. I had CBS News that wanted to come here today. I'm like, no. I'm like, it's like, oh, we want to do a piece because what you're doing. I'm like, no, call me next week. So it's what I'm holding on to is like, I don't want this to happen to so many people again. That's the part I'm holding on to. I want people to be conscious enough to know that there's certain things that you need to do. There's certain skill levels that you need. You need to know how to cook food. You need to know how to grow food. Your kids need to know when you send them in the backyard, they need to know a carrot top from a parsley top. And that's just like with Alice Waters, and Edible Schoolyard. That's something that we need. That that can never ever be taken away from you. We don't understand the value of food, and what we also don't understand the true cost of food. That they still have migrant farm workers working right now in the fields doing all this, and and now we have farmers who can't get workers to come in from other countries because they've been blocking the borders. So we have farmers that's been around for 50 years that this might be it for them, like it because they have $1 million some dollars worth of food just sitting on 4,000, 5,000 acres of land. It's devastating. I mean, when you think of how it's going to ruin a lot of people. I mean, in these restaurants, David Chang, they had to let 800 people go from his restaurants, Mama Fuko. So it's bad, but it's not hitting me like that, You
mean personally?
Yeah, personally, it's not hitting. I mean, I still, I have a couple employees that I'm like, still, y'all work from home. I don't need you. Don't even come here, and like I sent them, I haven't seen them since the 11th. So, but I understand how it is and how some people work so close to the edge, of their life is so close. And restaurants are like that. That they live on such short margins, but again, we're at that time is that we never thought that this could happen to us, and so we weren't prepared mentally, physically, or period for something like this to happen. We didn't take it serious. We're the United States of America, the biggest, strongest country in the whole world,
Yeah,
you touched on something really interesting there about not understanding what it takes to get the food, what it takes to grow it. What did you call it? The true cost?
Yeah.
It's something we've been talking about in our industry too. It's the same thing. And I think we're all, that's maybe something that we're all globally as a community seeing now is we are still so separated, divorced from the making of the things we consume, and it's food and it's clothing and it's automobiles, houses, whatever. We're really the closest, you know, I'll speak to food. The closest I get to the origin of food is when I buy meat from a butcher. Are you guys all vegetarian?
No.
Buy meat from a butcher instead of you know, a hamburger at a restaurant.
Right.
And you know, I really, maybe a little bit better now, but I basically, I have no understanding of what it takes to raise that cattle, feed those cattle, much less slaughter, skill, and clean that cow so that it comes to me. And I think the same thing happens for us in shoes. Nobody really has any idea what it takes to get the materials together. I mean, including the cow, if you're making a leather shoe, the number of parts in it, the infrastructure that has to come together to get those shoes delivered to your door. We just have no connection to any of it. And I think because the supply chains are so disrupted now, China's basically shut down in a lot of ways. We're all having to kind of grapple with the understanding of the implications of that you know, we can't take our food and our fashion and our air for granted. You know, it's super interesting that we're having the same conversation here about shoes that you are about food.
Well, I'm a fashion designer by trade. I mean, I used to manufacture. I used to sell to Neiman's and Nordstroms and Cachet and the whole line. That's what I did. I studied tailoring when I was 15 years old. So yeah, that's what I did most of my life.
Well, we should talk offline.
Sure.
We'll hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are conversations that we're having in my house too. I mean, it's the same everywhere. I mean, most of the stuff that I buy for however many years, the last 6 years, has been secondhand, right? Like bikes and gear and all of that. But then when we walk into a store or something and I see there's like a bike at Target and it costs $75 or something, and you're just like, I'm with my children, and literally the conversation, they're always like, can we please get out of here? But the conversation is always like, think about, like, where's this metal? Like, how is this thing cost $75? Beyond me, because all of these different materials, all the different parts, all the different fabrication things. But I think one of the things that we're talking about now in my family is this idea of perceived value, and just like even everything across the board. Again, food, goods, toilet paper, hand wipes, like, you know, that stuff is gold right now, and it's because you can't get it. So we had this conversation last night about just perceived value, and, you know, hey kids, like, how do you feel now that you can't get milk, or that you go to the grocery store and you can't get artichokes every single time? You know, it's a lot, and I think that that's something that hopefully people will be able to sort of hold on to. You know, you go to the grocery store, and like you said, Ron, I mean, I know my like local farmers at the farmers market, they've reached out to like our community and said, hey, we'll deliver food to your house because we have all this produce.
Wow.
And we don't want it to go to waste. We can't bring it to the farmers market. So they've been actually like delivering boxes, which is cool. Which is really cool. But then when I go to the grocery store and stuff isn't there, hopefully people, or maybe, I don't know, will be able to be like, wait, there's no toilet paper, there's no eggplants, there's no onions here today. What does that mean? And I don't know, maybe I keep thinking maybe people will think about where's this stuff coming from and how's it get here?
What do you mean I can't get no avocados? I need my avocado toast, fucker.
Yeah, avocados? That's fun. Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that every single industry has been industrialized, essentially, like, and the cost of cheap labor, it really makes us see things as disposable. It's like, would you really buy a shirt if it cost $500? Because all of the pieces in the supply chain were actually given the proper cost and value to it. Like, if a t-shirt cost you $500, you'd buy one once every 5 years and you would wear it to death, right? But now that you can get a t-shirt for $5, you're just like, well, why do I need to care about it? And I think that goes for food, it goes for fashion, for shoes. Like, we're all kind of guilty in that because it's what we've been indoctrinated in, I think. But I just think that our
You're
whole
talking about like
values-
luxury. Because you
Hmm?
asked me this question the other day, like how do you apply that luxury mindset to sustainability?
Right. Yeah.
And
That's my brain, my ramblings.
yeah, but that's an interesting thing, especially, I mean, right? It crosses all things. It's food, like you're talking about, like heirloom tomatoes at the market for X dollars versus the ones you get at Ralph's or Vaughn's for an eighth of that, or you're talking about like shoes or bags or whatever. Like we deal with this all the time at Rewilder, and I'm sure you do too, Sean, is that people are like, why is this so expensive? I get that all the time. And it's the same, it's that true cost of making things.
But most people, we don't explore it. You know, it's like with food. I remember being at a conference in San Francisco, and you know, we had a guy, white guy, of course, talking about, you know, these farm workers and giving his side of what they're going through. And I'm like, yo, and I stood up first, I said, yo, why are you here telling us the stories of migrant farm workers when we're in San Francisco? There's some right up the street, dude. We can get them to tell their own story because we don't need your version of their story, because your stories always seem to get changed when you start telling them, and you guess what you become? The victor. You know, so no, let's get them in and tell their own stories. And that's what happens. So we don't know about they're sitting in there with these and going from heirloom tomatoes to what they call them commercially grown, which means you can have all the pesticides in the world in them. So you got people bent over forward for hours on a day, and they're breathing these pesticides. So, and where are they going to the restroom? Right there in the field, you know? So nobody thinks about this. Nobody thinks about the miscarriages. Nobody thinks about the diseases that they're being exposed to by breathing in these chemicals in those kind of work conditions. So yeah, what is the true cost of food, and what is it costing us? When we go to the store and we see those sexy apples all shiny and they have sprayed with water on them, you know, it's like, ooh, baby, you know, and that's what we see. We don't see that. We don't see the dark side.
This is also something that, like, growing up first generation Chinese American, my mom would have like a whole chicken in the kitchen, and then my friends would come over and they'd be like, oh my god, chicken still has a neck and a head on it, like what the fuck? Because they're used to seeing it pre-packaged from the grocery store, your Foster Farms, right. Only, like, so sterilized, so devoid of any sort of living being. And like, that's just what we've been accustomed to. And like, I kind of grew up halfway in that because my mom used to go to Chinatown. There's a poultry butcher place there. And like, she would get a whole chicken, and then my babysitter would like actually kill it in the yard. And like, you'd hear, yeah, it was a little crazy for like American standards, but you had to like wring it out and stuff. It's a lot. But you get a bomb ass chicken and like, you use every single part except for like, you know, the pieces that you're not supposed to eat. And so you see that, and then you think of food a little bit differently because you can actually associate it to the thing that gave its life for you to eat it. Whereas like, if you grew up going to Vaughn's or Kroger or whatever, like, you never would see all the messiness behind it, and so therefore you don't really associate value to it as a living thing.
That's the way the food system is designed as well. Like the way your mom did it is really the right way, because you're connected to that it's an animal. But you know, if you read, Michael Pollan wrote this book called The Omnivore's Dilemma. Yeah, and he talks about how our food systems are designed so it's just how to feed the most amount of people for the least amount of money, and only one sector making money off of it, which would be, you know, the corporations, right? So you have like these, the reason that cows are, you know, the reason that there's all this what is it? Yeah, methane, is because cows aren't supposed to eat corn. What are they doing? They're feeding all these cows. They're sick. I mean, the meat we're eating if it's not grass-fed, grass-finished, I don't eat meat at all, but I used to, and I love meat, but I don't eat meat because I just don't want to be part of the problem anymore.
Yeah.
Contributing to, you know, the way they feed these animals is not natural. And so if the cost of doing business is more, so if a steak costs, I don't even know, like $10, if the steak costs what it really is worth, like what you're saying, Stephanie, like if it were $30, or I don't know how much it costs, but then I think people would have a appreciation. Like if animals were raised to eat grass and not be taken from their mother and have to be on that's why cows are on hormones, is because they're eating sugar. That's all they eat until 5 days before they're slaughtered. They give them grass, and it's such an insane way of feeding people, but it's all based on corn and sugar, and we can't go on like this. This is insane.
Yeah, and Laura, as you're talking, what makes me think of is just like we could have this conversation about any fucking thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Anything.
We're talking about food, but like flip it to the way that materials are made. Flip it to the way that any like it's literally like all those systems.
Every system is flawed, and every system
it's not flawed, Laura. They're not flawed. They work like perfectly oiled machines, and that's what we should realize. Because I'll ask the question I've talked at architect schools, believe it or not, and I'll say, okay, what are cities designed for? And it's like this blank stare. And then so the professor once, she says, people, and I'm like, wrong. I said, she's gonna teach you that because that's what she's been taught. She's a professor of architecture.
Right.
I said, but no, cities are designed for one thing, period. And that's commerce. I said, they're not designed for humans, for humanity. Can you guys, and is that your job to do it now? Yes, but that's what has to be done.
When you're looking at it from that perspective, then it's a well-oiled machine. But from my perspective, the way that the body works and farming works, it's
hell with the body.
I see it. It's broad, like a cow's body and a human. I mean, everything. It frightens me. When I read that book, I was like, "Holy shit! You can't escape it. It's everywhere." Oh my god, it's gnarly.
The world right now is frightening. I think that's a perfect word.
Really?
I think so. Like
I
don't know. I don't feel like that,
you
Jen.
see that?
No, I don't feel frightened. You know.
Because you have the power to change. Like what we're doing right now is we're mobilizing. I know only 2 people on this webcast that we're doing, but now I've just met 3 new people. So that I didn't even know before. And now we're connected because we all have the same, I don't want to say ideals, but same values, similar values.
Yeah.
We're building community, and I don't want to be frightened. I want to have control. I want to change things. I want to mobilize. I want to get people to think differently. And Ron, you've changed a lot of minds on a mass scale. I've changed some minds, and I've changed a few. Like I'm like, oh my God, I really made a difference. And imagine if you could do that every day, one person. You could just. I mean, even helping people like reuse your plastic. Reuse your Ziploc baggies. There's a way here. You can get a dryer bag. It's made out of bamboo, and you can wash your Ziploc baggies. And that's one little thing. It just like makes change. It inspires change.
Well, no, I mean, even you made me think of your husband when I first met your husband, and it was like they were trying to get him to come to a meeting in Venice, and they said Ron Finley's gonna be, and they told me he said Ron Finley's gonna be, and he came, and he said, dude, you were some of the inspiration for what I do, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. So
you are totally,
that was I mean, to hear that from somebody with the stature, with the stature that David had, I mean, it was like, wow. I mean, just how far something so simple so that we all should be doing can be taken, and you guys took it to the 10th power. So no, I was so honored by that. that I had no idea that this would turn into what it has turned into, but it's and it's hard. I'm not even gonna bullshit. This shit is hard because I don't know. I guess I don't get people coming to me, Ron, we see what you're doing here. Take this 200, take this $1 million and let's push this shit. I mean, I'm still my biggest supporter of my nonprofit. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard, but I ask people, like, does pain feel pain? And having this skin tone, I'm used to shit being harder just because it's gonna be hard. So is it really hard? Or it's still gonna happen no matter what. And that's the tenacity is what I think's pulled me through to get to even to this part, because I've been through it. I mean, from my fiscal sponsor taking all my money, or trying to, and then I didn't get it, to people trying to take my house. I mean, I've been through it, through employees embezzling, damn near all your money. I've been through it,
Yeah, you've had to navigate the system in a way that must be so frustrating. Like, even dealing here with my house, like having to, we had to fix the front door and had to go sit in front of the HPOD board, like the Historic Preservation Board. It's like those systems are. So interesting. Like, there's what we're talking about now. I'm wondering what you guys think about how to now that everything is changing, right? People are like open to change in a new way. Is there a new way of like talking to people, or how do you see that? How are you communicating with people right now about these ideas? And I guess how are you working right now? Like, what's your work? I mean, I know you're all working. Everyone's working from home, and then how are you communicating with people to try to start these conversations? How does that look?
I don't know. I'm getting hit up a lot because because of what I've done, and people like now, oh yeah, I guess we can't eat this. I guess we do need food. I guess that is a tool that we need in our toolbox. And the bottom line is, throughout life, people ask me how I start gardening. I said the first thing would you start gardening? I said when I was in elementary school, where we had the petri dish and you put the wet paper towel and the seeds in it, and I'm sure all of you guys, I'm sure everybody did that all over the world, and you watch it grow, and it's like, damn, that's amazing. And then what? You throw it away. So all through life, we've gotten these half-assed lessons. Nobody told us, take those beans and put them in the ground. We didn't have no ground to put them in at the school. So that should have, so now just imagine your whole life through education, you getting these kind of half-assed lessons and you don't know because you're a student. And that's basically what happened, through the education system. My kids got to go to private school, and and there is a difference, but $20,000 each kid, you shouldn't have to pay that for education in this country, so I'm having the conversations now where they're coming like, man, you think you can show, people, oh, you think you can do like get Instagram and show people this and that? No, like, no, I got a project coming out. You just subscribe to it, but I'm still doing, I'm doing that, but I'm telling you, are you guys listening now? Do I have your attention now? And so that's basically how I am. A lot of people coming now like, wow, you were right. You were this, and can you teach me? So, and I'm having those conversations, but I understand the pain that a lot of people are going through. Yeah. I do understand it, but my whole thing is, I think a lot of it is because we haven't lived the life that we want to live. We haven't. And one of my things is design the life that you want to live, not the one that's been designed for you. And most people's lives, they've been designed for them and they don't even realize it. So especially if you go to school in one of these inner city schools all over the world. I've left schools from Compton to Pensacola and cried, out leaving it, because none of these kids are ever going to show how brilliant, how bright they are, because they're not given those opportunities. So they're like slaughtered. They're like cattle in a, in a GMO factory or something. They're never going to get the opportunity to show that I am also brilliant, that I have a purpose. And that's when you multiply that across the United States, it's heart-wrenching, that you have this number of people who are never going to get a shot, ever, on purpose.
Do we think there's an opportunity now?
Without question, Sean, without question. Yes. Yeah, because I like, are you listening now? Do you hear me now? And people are listening.
What did you say? Do we have your attention now?
Exactly.
Good one.
I think, just how everything's changed in terms of our work structure and our movement structure, all of that feels like opportunity to me for people to sort of design their own life, right? Is that what you said? Design your own life to make it fit what actually works for you. Like if I want to sleep until 11 because I work the best from noon to p.m., then why wouldn't I do that? Why wouldn't I do that? And by the way, also that changes our traffic patterns. So then not everybody's on the road at the same time, and you don't have to share your. One of the other things I don't ever want to go back to, riding my bicycle on the road in LA and feeling like I'm gonna get hit by a car.
Oh my God. Yeah, one of my girlfriends got hit by a woman on Beverly Boulevard in rush hour, and the woman ran hit her from the back and was run. So she's under the car, and what's stopping the car from going is her hip because the woman is still pushing on the gas. So yeah, I've seen that. But yeah, is you when you thought about like working from your space? I've worked from my space where I've lived for over 30 something years. So wherever I lived, I had, and I see the difference in the relationships. I see the difference in my children. I see the difference in your health. And it's like at that class, one of the classes I was lecturing about art, about designing spaces, I said, the only thing that really the current architect has in common with nature is the freeway. And all the students are like, what is he talking? I said, yeah, you ever seen an ant farm? I said, now think of rush hour on the freeway. Why is it called rush hour? You want to talk about a mind fuck? You're not going anywhere. So why is it called rush hour? So I said, it's just like an ant farm. Just people they're going in and they're going out. I said, and why are they making everybody, just like you said, work at the same time? Yeah. And that can be changed like that.
I think it is already.
No, you're right.
Yeah, this we're doing right now, I think we're all, even me, we're learning that, hey, it's actually human and it feels good to be talking to people like this. And we're not going back.
You don't think so?
No. I in the medical community, there are maybe most doctor visits can be done over video.
Which was illegal a month ago. And now
because Medicare said you
literally?
have to come in contact. Yeah. Wow. And I don't think there's any going back from that. And so for us, I think we're already there. This idea of flexible work hours, it's always been a no-brainer, but I think the collective now has to acknowledge that flexible hours and people don't have to be crammed in the same place all the time at the same time.
Yeah.
I think it's been a fundamental shift in that area.
That's good. That's good to know.
You asked about communication, Jenny. And one of the habits that I see changing, I felt like I was staying in touch by having, certain email lists. And I'm curious if you guys, now I get emails from these people and it's just unsubscribe.
I did that yesterday. It must have been about 20 because you get them and you just I'm like, no, unsubscribe. But then some of them still come up,
Yeah, I that's super irritating, especially because I don't know how to correct it. Yeah, I unsubscribe and a week later I'm still getting it.
Yeah.
But this idea that people are trying to sell me shit now,
right?
I'm really sensitive to it. You dick. I'm trying to keep my business alive right now. And you're trying to sell me more crap, and it's just unsubscribe. So I don't know what the answer is, but when you asked about communication, Jenny, that was my first thought is do not try to sell people crap they don't need right now. And I don't know if I would love it if that stuck, but I think at least for the next week, don't try to sell people crap they don't need. I mean, and so we think about it a lot. We're selling shoes. It's not a necessity. We've always been very big on something we already talked about today. Choose well and make it last. That's a mantra of ours. But maybe we shouldn't. I don't know. We think a lot about if we're selling shoes, how do we do that responsibly, if at all? Mm-hmm. And I wonder if that's the communication now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think this loops back to what we talked about at the beginning too, just the word sustainability and authenticity, and everybody sort of co-opting the words green and then the word sustainable, and now there's like gotta be a new way to be honest and truthful with people so that they can see the supply chain, they can understand the true cost, and they can actually make better decisions.
I think it's the same thing they did with natural in the food industry.
Oh,
they got people. It says natural right here on the label.
Yeah.
It said rubber's natural.
Yeah.
Arsenic is natural. And they do this. They have committees and they come up with this shit. It's not like that's what's diabolical about it.
Yeah.
If I'm really hopeful, I feel like we may be able to sidetrack that. Is these words like sustainability and green and you didn't say the word, but transparency. Yeah. They've been percolating for a while, and we may have lost green already,
right?
But if I add your comment about do we have your attention now, that these aren't just words to throw around. They're not just words to bandy about for a marketing scheme, that these should mean something. I wonder if the communication fundamentally changes because people are more now sensitive to those words. I don't know if you guys know this footwear brand called Allbirds.
Yeah.
They have a very big sustainability marketing message, but it's a marketing message. And,
when you were saying that, that's what I was thinking about is the madman. They're gonna find a unscrupulous, like charming, beautiful way to still utilize it, man. That's their job. That's my job, to get you to buy my bullshit and have you think that it's legit and it's healthy and it's good and you need it on your kids and you need to put it in your mouth and you need it on your back. That's my job.
Yeah. And these guys are good at it. They've done a great job of convincing people that they're sustainable. But the interesting thing is and it's been super depressing to see these guys spin marketing doublespeak and get such a great response out of it. But this last week, they did a couple of things, their usual MO, we're doing this for you, and they just got raked over the coals. They got called out for their bullshit.
Really?
Yeah, and on their own social media feed.
Wow.
Which is, hopeful, right? And if that's the case, what do we do with it? As a group, what do we do with it?
Actually, Sean, did you see that also happened to Everlane?
No.
To who?
Everlane got crushed this week. I mean, do you know what Everlane is, Ron?
No.
It's a fashion brand, and their basic tenet. I mean, Sean, you just said transparency. That's all over everything. They talk about being transparent. So we're transparent with the factories. We're transparent with the wages. It's basically like they call it radical transparency.
It's the Allbirds of apparel, basically. Yeah.
They sell beautiful basics at a mid-range price. And their claim to fame was that Meghan Markle wore an oatmeal cashmere sweater at the airport, and that everyone just went crazy, including myself.
And you're wearing it right now.
No, so this is actually from Target. It's just so bad.
Well, see, the thing,
but it's
not evil for doing it. That's the system working the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, but to your point, I felt like I felt actually glad to read that Everlane was getting just called on it, like
I
called
didn't. I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
What happened?
They fired a bunch of people, and then they just got, this whole thing happened. They fired however many number of people, and then they just got sort of investigated for being not the amazing company that everyone thinks they are.
Well, there were rumors that they were shortchanging their people by kind of, I don't know exactly the details, but manipulating that gig economy law to their advantage, to the severe disadvantage of their customer service people.
Yeah.
They had their customer service people working out of their homes and underpaying them, that kind of a thing.
How do we change and exceed man's for greed, at the expense of bodies?
Well, will this episode change that mentality? That's what I feel that when I say there's going to be a shaking out, there's going to be a lot of people that this won't affect them. They'll still go back to doing the same crap that they've been doing before all this happened. That's what I'm fearful of. Like, I'm not afraid of a lot of things, but that I'm like, that's going to happen. It.
But don't use the word fear. I mean,
well, what's another word for like? I'm afraid that that's what's going to happen. I'm not like staying up at night terrified, but whatever the other word is, like I'm suspicious that they're going to be doing that again.
Of course they are. That's what they've been trained to do. That's their job. It's like, what's the company that bought Silk when Silk was organic?
Jim Thompson.
Was that one of those big ass companies? And so what they did, they literally the same packaging, same everything, and they had a class action on this. And they changed the same oval as the label that said organic, and then they put natural in there, and nobody noticed because it's the same everything except that one word. So that they're amazing at this kind of manipulation. So they're gonna do it. It's not up to them. We got to shut that shit down.
Right.
We got to stop buying the product. Right. We have to. I mean, it's the same thing with the few times that Jessica Alba with her company. Maybe her name, maybe she don't have nothing to do with this shit, but they've been called like, yo, hey, and like, oh, and you pay this, and you still, what have you lost? It's this, and a lot of it is like, I think this whole celebrity glorification shit. It's like with me, I made clothes that's what I did, custom clothes. I dressed tons of entertainers, basketball players, football players, all of that, but I didn't. And like people like, man, you should get so-and-so to do this. And I'm like, I don't want you to come to one of my events because so-and-so's there. You come to the event because this is what you do. I don't want to be promoted like that. I don't want these celebrity worshiper and you're doing it because you get to see this person. No, you get to do this shit because this is real. And that's what I want to happen. But no, they're going to do that. And then we have the companies that, like General Mills, who's doing some beautiful, they got a whole like organic brand side now, but they got one woman, probably she's got 5 different companies under she's running them. But the fact that they have a farm now, they have this I forgot how many acre farm, organic farm, where they're growing some of the stuff that they put in their product, in their organic products. Same thing. Smart. Same thing with Coke. They've bought organic brands, and that's the big thing in, like, if you go to the Natural Products Expo, that's the biggest thing right now that people are looking for, are these companies coming in, these crazy, and giving crazy dollars to these companies that are, some of them are startups, and just buying them out, 5, 10 million, 20 million, 5 and 6 million. And that's the biggest thing that's happening in the natural products food, because basically a lot of them are going to be compromised and say that, hey, we have this under our umbrella. We have natural, we have organic. And that's what a lot of people in the industry are looking for right now, is to do that.
I also feel a lot of those entrepreneurs want that. Like their goal is to be bought out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Which changes the dynamic a bit too, versus like if they will take the money but also want to keep the integrity of the product and the brand that they work so hard to build. And I don't think I see that.
I know it's how John Foraker, who owned Annie's Homegrown. They sold and General Mills bought, and so John stayed on supposed to stay on for 1 year. I think he stayed on for 3 to make sure that that was in place. That it was now he's with Once Upon a Farm with Jennifer Gardner. Him and Jennifer Gardner bought into this company, and so there are some truths out there that are doing it the right way, that do care about their employees, that do care about people, that do care about their health. Because the bottom line is, these people have kids too, you know, and like I've asked the question many times and nobody's been able to answer. I've been told, I'm gonna find out what is in the cafeteria at Monsanto. What are they eating? You know, nobody can answer me that question. Like, what's in there? Is that shit organic? What are you eating? Have you drank?
You have to go undercover.
Yeah, have you drank the Kool-Aid? You know,
always they're feeding at LAUSD. Cisco truck rolls up and
or what is it, Gold Star, Gold Star food. They're the ones that supplied all the unified LA Unifieds, which I got caught up in that's another thing I had. You know, I got this. If I just did a list of the things, it's like why I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing, you know, because I got caught up in a scandal. You can look it up. David Binkle, who ran all the food in LA Unified, and they brought me like, hey, we want you to put in gardens in the schools. We want you to bring in like positive, like people to talk and positive rappers and show these kids and do plans, be on LA Unified TV channel. And come to find out that they were had some kind of deal with Gold Star, where they were sending stuff somewhere and collecting tags and getting the money back. You can look, it's online. You can find it. The LA food scandal. And how do I get tied up in that? You know, and that's I had the investigators calling me. So what I've gone through in a very short amount of time in doing this has been insane, you know? Because they did a tax thing where they said they were going to give me X amount of dollars, and they didn't give that. They gave me half of what they reported to the IRS is that they gave me triple that. So of course the IRS took all the money out of my account. Yeah.
I mean, that makes me think, when you're talking about that, it makes me think of like changing laws, actually, you know, because you went through this massive struggle to actually get a law changed. And all of a sudden in the last month, there's been a few things, like we already mentioned the doctors being able to do remote visits. Even like forgiveness of student loans, things that the government was just like, we can't do this, it's never gonna work. And now all of a sudden they're talking about like trillions of dollars.
Yeah, look what we found.
Yeah, look what we're making. And so when I'm trying to think of like, where's the greatest opportunity right now for sustained ecological change? Do you think is that in like, I mean, any of you, like Laura, Sean too, like, is that in actually changing laws? Like, do you think the government, especially here in California, is open to changing some of those laws? Like, should we be lobbying our?
They have to. It's called We the People. They work for us, and that's what we've forgotten. That's what we need to get back to. No, fool, you work for me and you will listen to me. Oh, we didn't answer your phone calls because we never heard of you. I'm one of the people that voted for you, you clown. Answer the damn phone. So it's like, we have to get to a point where, no, we demand it, not them. It's almost like, I don't know if you guys heard the Kushner dude on TV that's talking about.
Try not to listen to that dude.
Oh my God. Did you see the Netflix on him? Dirty Money? Y'all gotta go.
Yeah.
Oh my God, y'all gotta watch his Dirty Money. Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's that this is the government stuff. It's not for the city. It's not for the cities, the states. It's the government. It's like, wow, who we have in charge? No, you work for us, but they forget because we've allowed them to.
So what do you think are the greatest opportunities right now for sustained ecological change? Like what do we focus on at this moment? Or, I mean, because now we're at the end of this conversation, kind of, that would be the last thing for now that I would ask. Like, what do you think the future looks like? Like, amidst all this change and all this instability, where's the greatest opportunity for change? Not for money, obviously.
I think what's happened is like what Ron said. Are you listening now? Because I feel that everybody was on such a fast pace that they didn't have time to listen. And you've got single moms working 3 jobs, and people just are so at the end of their rope, and on such a shoestring. And now it's like everybody's kind of confined to stop and listen. And everyone knows that the air out there is much better. Everyone knows that the people are talking about the water. The ocean is so beautiful right now. And it's very clear that we're the problem. And so
we're the virus.
Yeah, we are the virus, and we're the only thing that doesn't work with Mother Nature. Like everything else is in step with Mother Nature except humans. And I think if people take a pause, maybe this will just open their eyes to making that shift, or at least to be more open to the shift, that the way it was working before wasn't really working. There was a lot of things that weren't necessarily working to help humanity. We're actually destroying ourselves. We're not going to destroy the planet. The planet's not going anywhere. And when people say, "Oh, save the planet," I'm like,
yeah, we put ourselves out, the planet's going to be fine. Yeah,
they have mushrooms. They have mushrooms growing in Chernobyl. Okay, in the nuclear reactors, there literally are mushrooms growing. It's like, I usually tell people, it's like, because going to these conferences, and I'm trying to say, most of you guys in here, you're rich as hell, and so your money basically comes from the bottom or the middle. Okay, so you should be more like cattle ranchers, where they really take care of where their money comes from. They give their cows manicures and pedicures, and they take care of them. So because you're not taking care of where your money comes from. I said, so I say, ask Marie Antoinette how that shit worked for her. It didn't turn. I said, Mother Nature always wins. Mother Nature's the house. If she's Vegas, Mother Nature would be the house. She doesn't lose. Ask the people in Pompeii. You people need to wake up and realize where you are right now, and that if people do better, and your whole object is money, if they do better, you're gonna do better, and they don't see it like that.
That's right.
So is the goal to demonstrate that it's financially better to take care of the planet, or is the goal to let people know that having your financial success as your total success barometer is the wrong thing? I mean, I think there's 2 different lessons there.
But there's 2 different lessons, Sean, that needs to be stated too. I mean, yes, it needs to be, because you're dealing with people that I got my MBA, from wherever the hell, and this is what I was trained to do. So one of them's going to appeal to that person, but then you need to appeal to this other person too.
Yeah, maybe.
Interesting. This is amazing. I mean, I think one thing that I would add on, Laura, about what you were saying is just that, like, humans are the virus, you said, I think. And I think that there's, I hope, right, that there's a way to look at this where we don't all self-destruct and blow everything up and leave the earth to itself, but where humans are actually amazing and we come to live in harmony, right? Like, that's the goal. That instead of humans being the virus, that we go back to something where humans are actually able to come up with systems that work for both the planet and for our well-being.
But they had these humans called Native Americans, and they tried to kill them all. They have these humans that, what do they call it? I think they live in the Amazon. They call them Amazonians. They tried to do that, and now they're murdering them for sport.
Yeah.
Literally for sport. So they know how to do it. It's just like, and there's a way to, I think, to join the two, you know, with having these kind of coaches, but also having the technology. And I mean, it's just that, again, it's greed is what it's greed and power. But I don't even know why you consider that power. You're gonna die. You know, ask Steve Jobs how that shit works. You're gonna die. Period.
So that's to your point about just like the reteaching what success is.
Right.
Re-understanding, coming to a new understanding of success. I woke up this morning, I'm alive, I'm happy, healthy, thank God. You know, I'm eating, I'm successful.
Yeah.
That's
not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not. But the other one is harder.
It's really easy. It's just a total flip from what you grew up with.
Yep.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you. This is a total experiment. Can I ask you a few just like functional questions? Would you have liked more people to be on this call? Because there's like, I set up basically a series of 4 of these. Would you have wanted more people here?
No, because not me, because that means less people would have got to say, have a part in it. I mean, especially with this amount of time.
Yeah.
I think maybe there's a place for a bigger, like a town hall, something like that. But I really like, I'm with Ron. I really like that I got to hear everybody talk.
Okay.
That's how we learn.
Yeah. Same.
I would love to send out like a follow-up, maybe just like things that you want to change, because I don't think we really got to that. Like things you want to change, and then also how you might go about it in like baby steps, and then also longer term. So if you guys are okay with getting like a email later from us to kind of like follow up on those like action items, because I think we spent a lot of time talking, which I love, but a huge part of this and talking to you guys as action makers is to get the action going. So
I did. I think we talked about it. I mean, for us, policy, it need to be changed. I mean, what needs to be changed basically is our mindsets and values. that is how do we get other people to come to our farm? You know, is what we need to do, is what needs to happen. How do we get our party bigger? You know, so and that's what needs to be talked. That was needs to be said. But no, I think we talked about what needs to happen, and the bottom line is humanity needs to happen. Consciousness needs to happen. You know, respect and honor and needs to happen. Equity, equality needs to happen.
Yeah. So I do hope, like Stephanie said, I mean, there's a series of these. So basically, this is the first of 4 that are scheduled. I'll send you a summary of this call, also of all the calls. And then afterwards, we can reconnect and kind of figure out if there is a larger town hall and everybody gets introduced. I mean, everybody's fucking amazing. I'm like mind blown by this group of people. And also, if you want, are you comfortable with me connecting you all?
Without question.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
No problem.
Okay. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody, please be safe.
Yeah.
Ujjayi breaths, everybody. to end this call.
Deep cleansing breath. Take care, everybody.
Hug your husband for me.
Amazing.
Thank you.
We will. Take care.
Hey guys, be safe.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye. Big love.
Bye.
Bye.